what, you can rock now!
Time for YouTuber Showdown
Season 3.
Now for the final battle, we have Nick versus the Critical Drinker. They're both in their 40s. Their weight is, it's circumstantial. And they're one Southern, one he can't remember. So Critical Drinker can't remember. That's one of his strengths. And his weakness is also that he can't remember. So, yeah. So there we go, folks. So, Nick and the Critical Drinker are against each other today. Here we go. So you have 1 whole minute to explain your situation and go from there. So we'll start with Black Saber. Are you ready? In 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, for one thing, I think Nick's gonna start out this fight by just showing up late. He always shows up late to Mr. H's podcast, so tardiness is already a factor here. Now, Nick also has all sorts of Final Fantasy sword replicas that he can bring to the fight. Okay. He loves his Final Fantasy stuff, so that's going to be a plus for him. Clearly, though, he has the weaker beard than the Critical Drinker. Now, the Critical Drinker, he might just be sloshed just starting off the bat, so it doesn't even really matter if Nick's late because he'll probably be passed out on the ring and puking his guts up. But at the same time, he is an angry Scottish man that writes special agent novels. So maybe in his research, he's gonna pick up some sort of secret agent tricks that he has.
That's time. What's the final answer?
I'm gonna go with Nick.
Nick won. Okay, that's a shock. Okay, all right. Ronnie, what do you got? And he's muted.
I thought it's very interesting that you mentioned that instead of waiting, Nick has Depends, and that kind of made me think about, the time that you did the video with the Depends commercial, and, Critical Drinker being a man who drinks, he got to go to the restroom, but Nick, if he's got Depends, he don't got to wait, so he could be on that convention floor having a showdown battle, and that pair of Depends, I don't know why he has them, but he can use them, but more importantly, I know Nick. I once hung out with him for a whole 25 minutes or roughly maybe 15 minutes. Okay. And so as a result, I know he's a working man from what he talks about. One time he wanted to play Final Fantasy for a weekend, but he worked so hard that the only way he could do it was he had to look forward to getting sick so that he could be sick in bed so that he could play Final Fantasy. And I don't know if Critical Drinker could play a video game while sick. This guy can apparently. So there's that, and just look at Critical Drinker. He's strong. He looks like he's pretty fit. I say, God bless the man. But I think Nick, it's sort of like, once again, he's a bit more rugged, and I think look at this, look at that smile. He's I love Critical Drinker, I really do. I love the work. His Fallout review was good. I like his work with regard to Star Trek. He spewed out all of the right insults towards the Picard show, and Nick is just generally, I think, just a stronger candidate when it comes to a showdown through sheer force of will and experience and fortitude. And I'm trying to find a vocabulary word, and I can't find it, but I give it to, do I get to say who I vote for yet?
Yes.
Nick.
All right.
Wow, okay.
And Mrs. Flu, what do you got?
All right. Well, not to be the one that goes along with the crowd, but I have to agree.
Think of the specimens.
Well, yes. Well, even though that Critical Drinker, just by the name, wondering, is his temple really his body? Because he critically drinks, or is it Critical Drinker? Not sure. But you know what? It could be a closet thing that he has. And, at that moment, he could be a bit sloshed, just completely sloshed. And then Nick comes in, and he's of sound mind, and he can just come in and just knock him right over. Just because, Critical Drinker embraced his name, and Nick just knocked him down. That easily. Boom. Done.
Wow.
All right. Nick, and Nick.
Okay.
Wow.
Nickety Nick.
Okay, Punk.
Okay.
Matt, don't talk
What?
back.
You guys have made a case, I guess. Okay, so like I said, you got Nick. He's got the echo-based neck orb, right? He's
Yes.
got that sonar skill, right? He could find Critical Drinker in the dark. He doesn't need his eyes. He's got the sonar. Now, Critical Drinker, well, if he's critically drinking all the time and he's used to stumbling around, he's probably used to finding his way, you know, half conscious and being able to figure out where he's going to. So, if this was a race, I don't know who would win. But, you know, also the fact that Critical Drinker, I don't know if we called this out last time, he kind of looks like Johnny Bravo in this photo, right?
That's true. I can see that. He
Oh,
really,
yeah.
really
See that a little
slow
bit.
and like
Hello, pretty
anorexic
mama.
Johnny Bravo.
Yeah, he just needs a
With
blonde
this
hair.
scary kind of smile and all the teeth. Yeah. I see it.
Go. All right, if there's any memers in there, Mansquatch, if you're out there, somebody, yeah, you can do. You know what to do.
I kind of picture him more in the Powerpuff Girls, actually.
I can see that. Also,
You would make an amazing Powerpuff Girl, Wilton.
No,
Meme away.
okay, all right. Anyway,
Okay, who
sorry.
did you say? So are you going with Nick?
well, you guys started
Huh?
talking and having conversations, so I
Sorry,
wanted to let you have that.
Go.
Talking
Sorry.
about it.
I get confused. You said Johnny Bravo. You're the one that started it.
I know, but also Johnny Bravo for the win. I do like the idea that
Oh.
fucking boxing
Nice.
style.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're saying Critical Drinker. Okay, so now you guys have 1 whole minute to convince either Punk or Punk will convince all of you guys. Because here's the thing: there's now precedent for that happening, and that's why we
Yeah.
do this. Because last week it was 3 against 1, and Carrie came in and said that the old guy Frank, I think, looked like
Yeah.
like Jordan Peterson. That just changed the entire conversation.
True.
So that's yeah. So okay, go.
Well, it does pain me that Guagnar raised a interesting and valid point. He asked if Critical Drinker could be an expert in, or could Critical Drinker be an expert in drunken style boxing or drunken
Yes.
style kung fu? And
I think
anyone who's watched the videos about Jar Jar Binks potentially being a Sith Lord knows that he was pretending to be clumsy to trick his opponent. And I still favor Nick, but I mean, gosh, I mean, that might cause Nick to underestimate his opponent.
Punk will
Also
beef up that case.
There's a great movie with Jackie Chan. You know,
Mhm.
drunk boxing. Yeah.
So you're not gonna beef up that case. You're not gonna be like, yeah, that's a great point. And in addition to, this is why Critical Drinker is actually the one that could do it.
You're doing well. I'll let you.
Nah, I'm the judge. I'm only trying to like pull stuff out of you guys to make this engaging on another level.
Yeah, like how so?
Well, I mean, if it was me, I would be like, well, clearly Critical Drinker, because we know that he's like well over 6 feet tall. Nick is probably what, like 5'9" or something. So
The taller
Critical
they
Drinker-
are, the harder they fall.
but he's also tall and skinny. He's lanky, right? The guy's lanky, so he's got the ability. He's got agility. He's clearly able to move. Have you
got
seen
me.
him climb up on the stages? Critical Drinker, he can jump up easily onto a high stage, whereas Nick, he would have to like kind of like grab on and then like hoist up his leg and be like, ugh, and do that whole thing. And so all Critical Drinker has to do is get to the high ground, and he can just like start kicking on Nick, because Critical Drinker, he actually holds things pretty well. He's not totally inept.
Mm.
So
He's skilled at it. And also, have you seen Brad Pitt from Snatch? I mean, those pikeys, they know how to fight. I know that he's not the same thing,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's that build. It's that lean, strong, muscular build. You sneak attack.
yeah,
I'm
so there you
gonna
go.
have to switch over to Critical Drinker. I think you guys are convincing me there. Like Wilton talking about the Critical Drinker just doing WWE
Ow.
moves, and
I'm supposed to be a
and,
ref. Ugh, you tricked me.
uh,
Battle.
now it's just
I won.
I think the Critical Drinker's got my vote now.
Nick got slapped. I'm sorry, Nick. It's my fault.
Impartial ruling. I call for a mistrial. The hanging Chaz.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
like,
still
I mean,
going to stick with Nick. I'm
Okay.
sticking with Nick.
Okay, so
I used the whole
it's final vote time. It's final vote
screen.
time.
Sober.
Okay,
I
final
use the whole
votes.
picture on my screen to vote, and I do have a hanging Chaz now on my screen. So, I mean, how are you going to count my vote correctly? How do you know who I voted for now?
I don't know. That's what we're gonna say right now. So, starting with Black Saber, who you voting for? Final vote.
The drinker.
Wow. Okay. Ronnie, who you voting for?
I'm telling you, man, the working class man has to get his win. I mean, dude, I don't know why you guys don't care for the proletariat. Okay, aren't you working class? Don't you work for a living?
No.
And I'm just outraged about this. Yes, Nick still gets my vote of
Okay.
confidence.
Mrs. Flu.
Nick.
Ugh.
Oh.
Punk Waddle.
Because of my kin drunk waddle, I have to go with the critical drinker.
It's going back to the chat.
Yep.
Chad. Oh, Chad.
Speak truth to power, okay, guys?
Hey, Nick.
See, there you go.
I mean,
Yeah.
Nick's a good old Southern boy, so I don't
who's gonna
know.
win. So is
That's
Nick
gonna be
gonna
good.
like be able to like pull out his own victory here?
Oh, we're neck and neck. Oh no,
I
he's
am-
behind.
Honored
Come
here,
on,
Nick, that you're
come
here
on,
for this
chat.
conversation.
If I ever see you in Dallas,
Nick, if
with
you
a
win,
Helicon, please
I don't have the ability to say. I guess I could send you the link to the chat here.
Come on, guys.
5,
All of you there, find it.
4,
Find it. Find it.
3,
Click Nick. Click Nick.
2,
Click Nick. Click Nick. Click
1.
Click Nick.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
The critical drinker.
For the win. I still like Nick though.
Sad.
Well,
Yeah.
congratulations, critical drinker. That was really close, Nick.
It really
Nick,
Are
was.
you guys satisfied for failing to speak
Nick, we
truth to
need to hear
power?
the story. You need to get in here. We need to hear the story.
Alcohol does a lot of good things, Ronnie.
Hey there! So what you just watched was a portion of our live show that happens on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. Apparently you were too lazy to be there that time, but maybe you'll be there next time. Remember, Wednesdays, 9 p.m. Eastern.